Hey everyone, welcome to Ancient Portals. I'm LaFonso Woods, and today's topic is the Dogon Tribe. Now, the Dogon Tribe holds a very special place in my heart because my first encounter learning about this tribe was when I was 7 years of age. Now, as a young kid, I was a bit obsessed with Bigfoot, and I kind of had it in my mind that somehow, some way, I was actually going to find Bigfoot. And I pretty much was very obsessed. And there was a TV show that was called In Search of, which featured Leonard Nimoy. You all know him as Spock on Star Trek. And I would make sure to catch every single rerun to ensure I would catch that episode that had Bigfoot on it. Now, in the process of that, I ended up kind of coming across a variety of very interesting topics. And I eventually came across this one episode called the Dogon Tribe. Now, the Dogon Tribe, they have very advanced knowledge that researchers, scientists, historians, and scholars of all types cannot explain. This information has been hidden and suppressed pretty much from the world. The Dogons are the direct descendants of the original ancient Egyptians. They do not have a written language. And just like their ancient Egyptian ancestors, they use symbolism. In fact, the ancient Egyptians used over 700 hieroglyphics, and the Dogon still use over 70 of those original symbols today. Now, the first contact with the Dogon tribe came in 1935. Two renowned French anthropologists, Grualla and Deidre, of the time made contact with the previously isolated Dogon tribe. Now, due to the ancient Egyptian connection that the Dogon tribe seemed to have, is the reason that really lured these researchers there. Now, what they ended up doing is they embedded themselves with the tribe to try to gain, any kind of information or knowledge that they could about the tribe. And this process ended up being 30 years. And what they ended up doing in this time of 30 years is they completed the tribe's initiation process and gained the trust of the Dogon shaman. Now, at that point, the tribe finally revealed some amazing information. And it revealed that this tribe actually had advanced knowledge that really just kind of blew everyone's mind away. Now, the Dogon tribe was able to describe the Big Bang. And they also described what preceded the Big Bang. Now, what they described is that the universes are created when these two massive sized black holes that come close together, leaving a space between them. And what happens in that space in the middle is the gravity within that space begins to collect matter. Now, the two black holes kind of begin to swirl, and they start to move faster and faster, and all the while building more and more matter in the middle. Now, as the speed of the circling of the black holes picks up and more mass is gained, then you have a creation of a universe. Now, the interesting thing that the Dogon tribe described is that it's not one universe that's created. It's actually two universes. Now, what the Dogon described is that one universe is material, which is our own universe we live in today, which is a physical universe. Now, the second universe is non-material or metaphysical, and they indicated that we cannot see the non-material universe. Now, the Dogon tribe themselves, they express this through the wearing of masks. And if you ever look up any pictures of the Dogon tribe, you'll see them in these ceremonial masks. Now, the person behind the mask represents the person in the metaphysical universe looking at us. Now, while everyone else looking at the person wearing the mask represents our material universe, and we cannot see that person behind the mask, which represents the non-material. We cannot see. Now, the Dogon tribe also indicated that in our locale, there are a total of 14 universes. The tribe indicated that these 14 universes are together and kind of stacked up one on top of the other, and they resemble a double helix shape, which is very interesting. Now, they also indicated what the shape of the Milky Way galaxy is. They were able to describe to these researchers the spiral shape of the Milky Way. Now, they also indicated that the sun is the center of our solar system. And the surrounding planets, they were able to identify each planet in our solar system and also the colors of each planet. And also, they were able to indicate the moons that each planet has around in its orbit. Now, they also were able to describe the creation of matter, which was really interesting because if you compared what the Dogon described on that process of the creation of matter, and then you set it down side by side with the work of Stephen Hawking's, and you get a match. Now, they also were able to describe the structure of an atom. They were able to describe protons, electrons, and neutrons. Now, keep in mind, this is an indigenous tribe that uses no technology. And the Dogon claim that this information was given to them by a race of reptilian-like aliens they call the Nomos. And this information, they say, was given to them in the very ancient past. The Dogon describes the Nomos as an amphibious-looking type beings, often compared to, like mermaids, snakes, lizards, or chameleons. And they also describe them as fish capable of walking on land. And they claim that they stood on their tails and were also called water spirits, and that their skin is usually green, but like the chameleon, it sometimes changed color. The Dogon said that the Nomos come from the Sirius star system, a star called Sirius A, also known as the dog star. It is the brightest star in the night sky. The Dogon also mentioned a very small and very dense, or what they describe as heavy, star called Sirius B. Now, the interesting thing is Sirius B, we know today, is a brown dwarf star. Now, a brown dwarf star is very dim and very dense and cannot be seen with the naked eye. Now, the Dogon were able to describe the orbit of Sirius B. And they also described it as very heavy and very small. And they were able to describe when Sirius B comes into alignment with Sirius A in the Earth, which occurs only once every 50 years. And to celebrate that moment, the Dogon tribe holds a big celebration when this alignment occurs, and it only occurs once every 50 years. Now, the big question is how did they know of this brown dwarf star and its orbit without the use of any technology? And while not being able to see it with the naked eye, they indicate that the Nomos told them about this star. Now, Another interesting thing, the Dogon also indicated a third star in the Sirius system that is now known as Sirius C. They indicated to the French anthropologists that the Sirius C star and its orbit during that time. And the interesting thing about this is at the time, and it was around the 1960s, that star had not yet been discovered. And it was not to be discovered until 1994. And it could only be seen with the use of an infrared telescope. Sirius C was found to be exactly where the Dogon described it to be and matching the orbit that they described. Now, how did they know about Sirius C, which was not discovered until 1994 and only visible with an infrared telescope? The Dogon said that the Nomos told them about this star. Now, very recently, there was an attempt by some scientists to, try to extract this information in 2017. And pretty much these scientists were kind of coming at it at an angle where they were trying to debunk the Dogon's information. And so what they did is they made an attempt to travel to Africa and embed themselves with the tribe, but they ignored the initiation process that took 30 years, by the French anthropologists before them. And so what happened is their attempts basically failed. The Dogon would not reveal any information to them. And pretty much the results of that is after about 2 years, they kind of abandoned, the research and return and pretty much empty handed. And to this day, pretty much scientists, historians, and scholars can offer no explanation on how the Dogon obtained this advanced knowledge, aside from what the Dogon told us, which is that this information was given to them by an alien race they called the Nomos. And one interesting thing that was discovered among the Dogon tribe, there was a 400-year-old artifact that was found. And this artifact actually describes the configuration of the Sirius star system, confirming without a doubt that this information had been passed for hundreds and perhaps what I believe thousands of years. And this is a way to connect, and there is also a way to connect some dots from the Dogon tribe, who are the descendants of the original ancient Egyptians, to the Great Pyramid. The Dogon tribe's knowledge of the Sirius star system kind of points a little bit to the direction of the Queen's Chamber shaft that aligns with the Sirius star in the Great Pyramid. I believe that this is a possible connection that needs to be explored. This is information more than likely most of you have not had a chance to learn, because this information directly points to perhaps an ancient past that does not fit with the narrative we are told to believe. I encourage you to research the Dogon tribe to try to find out more. And I want to thank you for tuning into this episode of the Dogon tribe. I'm LaFonso Woods. Ancient Portals, out.